I believe FP&A is one of the most important functions across the whole organization. The only functions that connecting the dots is the FP&A. The only functions during the planning process, connecting the data, connecting the insights from HR, from supply chain, from IT, from commercial. The only function connecting the dots across all functions is the FP&A. Even during the management reporting or performance reporting, FP&A also. The only functions understanding the performance of the commercial, supply chain, business, any business area, FP&A is the key function that connecting the dots from planning perspective and from reporting perspective. So I believe FP&A is the heart of the organization. The functions that support decision making, the functions that provide a real business insights, the functions that support all the looking forward aspects, the functions that measuring the performance of the organization. So FP&A, I believe, is the most important function in any organization.
This podcast is sponsored by Azdan. And this podcast is sponsored by Haft, Hub of Finance Transformation.
Mohamed, I've seen you in many conferences and even in your LinkedIn post. You are so passionate for the FP&A in particular. And within the finance industry, people prefer to work for the FP&A. I'm not sure why as well, the secret behind FP&A attraction for all the finance people. Maybe because it is one of the unique function in finance that has a futuristic approach, or you have the risk management within the company to juggle between opportunities and risk in the company, give you deep understanding of the business operation as well. But for you, I think something is different because you speak about the subject with full passion. And even you speak about the next generation of the FP&A. So why you're always passionate behind the FP&A, speaking about the FP&A and xP&A?
Actually, Mahmoud, I believe FP&A is one of the most important functions across the whole organization. The only functions that connecting the dots is the FP&A. The only functions during the planning process, connecting the data, connecting the insights from HR, from supply chain, from IT, from commercial. The only function connecting the dots across all functions is the FP&A. Even during the management reporting or performance reporting, FP&A also. The only functions understanding the performance of the commercial, supply chain, business, any business area, FP&A is the key function that connecting the dots from planning perspective and from reporting perspective. So I believe FP&A is the heart of the organization. The functions that support decision making, the functions that provide a real business insights, the functions that support all the looking forward aspects, the functions that measuring the performance of the organization. So FP&A, I believe, is the most important function in any organization.
Okay. Just a quick question. Do you think resource joining the company for the first time, does it make any difference if that resource in finance go well-rounded across all the function in finance, controllership, internal audit, taxation, treasury, partner for any other function, for example, before going to FP&A? Or it is the same result if we have a new joiner joining directly the FP&A? What do you think? Does it make any difference?
I believe, Mahmoud, it's all about the mindset. If the mindset of the person is really dedicated to understand the business very well, dedicated and passionate about building relationships, passionate about telling the business stories, having all the needed mindset for any xP&A. For example, the xP&A should be a person who is keen and passionate about building relationships. If the person, whatever, as you said, internal working inside the organization or came from outside, okay, if this person working as just like introvert person working behind computer screen, definitely this person is not, ready to be working in the xP&A. So we need someone really passionate to build relationships with people. Number one, this is one of the most important area. The second area is the person who is really has a mindset of selling the ideas, not telling. Because I'm still seeing some people, as you said, for example, working in internal audit or accounting or whatever. This person is working like a policeman inside the organization, right? Why you exceed the expense? Why you have gap in budget? Why you didn't achieve your number? So working like a policeman inside. This kind of mindset is not an xP&A mindset at all. So the mindset of selling your ideas, influence people, working as a coach inside the organization, this is the right mindset for the XP&A.
Okay.
Also from complexity to simplicity. As you know that most of finance people are, talented in complicating things, right? Presenting very complex tables, very complex charts, very complex business finance language. So if you have the mindset of complicating things and, just speaking technical accounting language, this is also not the right mindset for XP&A. So XP&A is a person who has the mindset of simplifying things to people, speaking very simple language, speaking business language, using visuals and data story, elements to simplify message to people. This is also one of the key mindset for XP&A. Also, the XP&A should also move from working from, behind computer screen, sending emails to person who has a passion to build relationships with people, meeting people face to face, solving business problems. This is a real mindset, Mahmoud, for the XP&A.
Okay. Now, that's very clear on the mindset, which mindset has the priority over and above the skill or the background or the experience. As you said before, if I have a new joiner with the right mindset, it's much better than a well-rounded finance resource across all the sub-function of finance without the right mindset in the XP&A. Now, if I go a few steps back, speaking about the mindset, when it comes to the skill set required in finance, if you go back in your career, if you go back on time, and you remember when we graduated from the university and we started our first assignment, a job, it's all about that certification, accounting, being accredited as a finance resource. But then when you face the business, we see a different reality. If you go back in time, what kind of skill set you would regret or you would love to build earlier in your career rather than realizing that later in your career, for example?
I'm very glad, Mahmoud, that you raised these questions, because to be honest, I made this mistake actually. When I started my career in finance, I was very passionate to, achieve very good, recognitions in getting global, finance certificates like, CIMA or CMA or FP&A or FPAC. I was very passionate to get, this kind of global accounting recognitions and became, a global chartered accountant. And this is not wrong at all. But I was very keen just to get the technical knowledge, and I didn't give the right intention to focus on the other areas, which is the soft skills and leadership skills. When I grew in my career, I started to realize soft skills and leadership skills are more. I don't want to say more important, but at least equal to the importance of having the technical skills. If you are the best accountant ever, or the best, internal auditor ever, or whatever, without soft skills, for sure, you will not be able to convince people. You will not be able to influence people. You will not be able to present, even your hard work. If you made a very good reports without the, the skills of storytelling, without the skills of negotiation skills, communication skills, definitely you will not be able to influence people, support decision making, building relationships. So I made that mistake in my career, and I saw many finance professionals focused only on the technical part, which I believe something we have to advise all the people who are starting their career in finance. Please focus on your soft skills, leadership skills, along with your technical skills.
Okay. Now, if you go back to the XP&A subject for a moment, let's assume that we have a small company that they don't have a function called FP&A. Later on, we're going to discuss the difference between FP&A and xFP&A as a difference between both. Why did you call it xFP&A? But if we're going to establish a new function from scratch as an FP&A, what advice will you give to this firm, and you deal with many companies in your daily life as well? what advice will you give to establish a new FP&A function from scratch?
I believe, Mahmoud, there are 5 pillars to build the FP&A functions or the next generation FP&A functions or the xP&A functions. There are 5 pillars. Number 1, as we mentioned, is the mindset. If you want to build the a winning FP&A functions, you should focus on hiring the people who has the right mindset. Number 2, definitely skill set. You need a unique skills for the FP&A, because believe me, the skills needed for the FP&A, it's very, very unique things required. We have a long list of skills that should be, developed for the FP&A functions. Number 3, definitely you need technology, right? We cannot definitely manage all the FP&A functions using manual work or spending all of our time just data, working on data gathering, data management, all of that stuff. Definitely we need technology, leverage technology to support decision making and running all the analytics part. And also we need to increase the capacity of the xP&A, because as you know, FP&A is a function that has a lot of deadlines and a lot of requirements. We have to submit budget on time, rolling forecast, quarterly forecast, management reports, weekly flash, sales flash, many things. If we don't know how to increase the capacity of our team, we will not be able definitely to support the business as they expected. Okay. And last but not least, the culture. If you have the right people, right system, right technology, having a good, increasing the team capacity and working in a bad culture, definitely xP&A will not be able to succeed. So those are the 5 pillars, I believe, for any successful FP&A functions.
Okay, so let's deep dive on one of these as we speak now. So the mindset, we already covered at the beginning, where you highlighted the kind of mindset that we need on the people working behind the FP&A or establishing the FP&A. Now let's go to the skill set. If I start a question, what's the difference between mindset and skill set in that sense?
Yeah, my mindset is just what is what is in your mind, as an attitude. Just your attitude, your behavior, your way of thinking, the way of dealing with things. This is a mindset. But skill set includes both, technical skills and soft skills. And I believe for the FP&A, soft skills is more important than the technical skills. This is very important because FP&A, I see FP&A is a marketing person, or we can say sales and marketing person, who has a business and accounting or finance acumen. This is the FP&A. Okay, so the skills for the FP&A should be more or less equivalent to the skills for the salesperson or the marketing person. So number 1, building relationships. Any salesperson definitely has to build relationships with the customers. As an FP&A, you have to build relationships with the other functions, right? This is something very important. How can you influence people, getting business insights from them without building relationships, right? How can people listen to you if you don't have a good relationships with them, right? Number 2 is business acumen. How can you ask the right questions without understanding your business, right? How can you tell people what is behind numbers without understanding your business? People will not give you a permanent seat in the decision-making table without proving to the business people that you understand business very well, right? So business acumen is super important for any FP&A. Number 3 also, which is very important, which is about technology savvy. As we see that FP&A should leverage technology, right? We have to know how to use, ERP system, APM system, AI, RPA. You have to be aware of the technology and what is the right technology that can help us to improve our business, improve our process.
That's part of the skill set. We're still in the skill set.
Yes,
right?
yes. But
so as a skill, you need to know how to navigate technology.
Exactly.
That's part of the skill set.
Yes.
Okay.
And you raise very important point, Mahmoud. I don't ask FP&A to be developers or programmers. This is something very important because many, finance professionals ask me, shall we learn data science or shall we learn coding or whatever? That's good to have definitely, but this is not mandatory or it's not required for the FP&A. I need you to be up to date with the technology trends to know what is the right technology to solve which business problems. If you have an issue in manual works, definitely automation. If we need something helping us in prediction or whatever, maybe you can think of AI or whatever. So you should know what is the right technology to solve the right business problem. Also, the FP&A should be a person definitely has the right skills of negotiation, because as an FP&A, you have to negotiate during the budget, you have to negotiate with the other functions, right? You have to negotiate with the customer for the contract renewals, for pricing. So we have to use negotiation skills in everywhere. And also one of the key important skills is how to turn data into insights. As we talk about FP&A, he's a person who has getting financial and non-financial data from different sources and has to turn it into insights, telling people what happened, why that happened, and so what? How can we improve our business? How can we mitigate risks? How can we improve our profitability? So those are the key skills needed for the FP&A.
Okay. Very clear, Mohamed. So I think the mix between mindset and skill set, giving what you give as an input, it creates the best fitting person to work on the FP&A as a function. And it cannot be only mindset standalone, and it cannot be only skill set standalone. So even if a resource or a finance leader in other function, sub-function of finance, has the right mindset, but still far away from the skill set, they need to acquire the skill set to be the right resource in that function.
Yes.
And vice versa. If he or she has the right skill set, but the mindset is not there, then the mindset need to be there to combine both and be ready for that function.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yes.
Now, you see in the market a lot of technology floating around with many sales objective to sell an FP&A tools. And every tool, Mohamed, they claim that they have an end-to-end integration, the right dashboards, the right granularity, automation. You can watch it in your Apple Watch or Samsung Watch. You can see it on your phone. And then I believe in some of the companies' experience, whenever they go with one technology, they discover it's not fitting into their ERP system. It's not linked to their SAP system, and they have to do some manual work to upload. Sort of. Now, you mentioned the technology aspect in the FP&A, which linked to our following subject and the capacity. But what kind of advice you're going to give to the company establishing their FP&A or FP&A function when it comes to technology?
Yeah, that's a very important point, Mahmoud. As you said exactly, technology is very, very important part for the finance function and for the FP&A. Let me give you, very, general or overview of what should be the right systems for any organization. Before we implement any system, as an FP&A, we have first to understand our business and find the right system aligned with our business requirements. I saw many, digital transformation projects failed because the implementing system which is not aligned with their business model, which is not aligned with their business requirements, which is not aligned with their stakeholders' requirements. So this is something. Before thinking of any kind of technology, what are the key business needs? What are our business model? Which system fits to our business model? It's not about complexity or having something very, fancy or whatever. It's about what is fit to our business. And when we implement it, we have to build it based on our business model and based on our business requirements. Okay, it's not just take the business, the system as is. Number two, which is very important, you should have a user-friendly system. Believe me, if you implement a good, APM system or CPM system for your FP&A functions, and you ask your sales people, please start putting your budget number in the system. And if the system is not user-friendly, people for sure will not be happy to use it, and they will, put a lot of, obstacles and a lot of resistance, to use the system. So please use a system that has a good, interface, has a user-friendly interface, easy to use. This is very also important point. Another important point for APM system, sometimes people focusing only on the financial planning. So we need system just to build for us the budget or build for us the rolling forecast or whatever. And they forget about the full picture of the organization, right? So when you implement any APM or CPM system for the organization, you should focus on the integrated planning and reporting, not only financial planning. So we need the system to connecting the dots, as we said. So we need the system to connect the operational plan, which is the supply chain planning, demand planning, forecasting, S&OP, all of that stuff, with the financial planning and analysis, with the strategic plan. So to have a full integrated planning system. If the software doesn't support full integrated planning, this is just, we can see it like just a simple budgeting tool. But if I talk about EPM or CPM, should connect the whole planning cycles, and the same from reporting perspective. We need a system to support reporting for the whole organization. Also, the system should have a good data visualization, because if we have just static numbers, or just providing us just tables, it will not be good for presentation, for data storytelling, for simplifying the message to our stakeholders. So we need system to have a good data visualization to support our data storytelling and our presentations. And last but not least, also, the system should give us a quality of data. As we know, quality in, quality out, or garbage in, garbage out. If the system has a bugs or errors or wrong, making a wrong consolidation, or the configurations of system is not right, definitely it will provide a wrong data. So those are the key criteria that we should, focus when we implement any system for the FP&A function.
Okay. That's very interesting. Now, if we combine these three, I do believe, Mohamed, just a question. If I have the right skill set and mindset and technology, as the way that you explained, then why you included capacity as one of the requirement? Because I have the right mindset of the person, the right skill set, and this person has the best technology you explained. Why you insist to include capacity as one of the basic requirement of the FP&A team?
Because if you have the right mindset, skill set, system, but your team is overwhelmed, you don't have time to build relationships, you don't have time to understand business, you don't have time to ask questions to other functions, all the time overwhelmed with submissions and deadlines, definitely they will not be able to be a true business partners or a strategic business advisors. So we need to increase the capacity of our team to have time to build relationships with people, sitting with the business people, making market visits. Market visits is very important to meet the customers, meet the salespeople, understanding what is going on the ground. So we need to increase the capacity of your team, right? And also we need to increase the capacity for your team to develop themselves, right? Because if the team overwhelmed all the time, how can they develop themselves, right? How can they get time to attending a training or attending cross-functional projects or whatever, right? So in all cases, we have to increase the capacity of our FP&A functions. How can we increase the capacity? I developed a model called 4-8, okay? Which is about, number 1, eliminate, automate, delegate, and reallocate. This is why I call it 4-8, okay? Number 1, let's talk about eliminate. If you sit, Mahmoud, with your finance team or your FP&A team or whatever, and ask each one of them to list all of their daily tasks or weekly tasks or monthly tasks or whatever, believe me, you're going to see a lot of tasks that the team has to deliver every month, and no one keen about it. Sometimes they have to send such kind of reports, and they have to spend hours and hours to send this report. Once they send that report to the stakeholders or management, no one look at it. It's obsolete report, no one keen about it. But they are just wasting their time on low value adding activities. Sometimes also I saw in many finance functions, they spend days, not hours, days in building a big management reporting deck, like 70 slides or 90 slides or whatever, and the management only look at on the first 5 or 6 pages. So they spend days in building slides, no one look at it. So we have to eliminate all the unnecessary tasks. This will for sure increase the capacity. Number 2, as we talked about using the technology, definitely we have to automate as much as we can. The more automation, the more you free up your team's time. Number 3, which is about delegation. We can delegate many things, right? Sometimes we can delegate to our IT team. Please automate this report for us. Please, manage that data aggregation and sending us that automated reports. We can delegate to outsourcing or having an outsourcing company to handle low value adding activities task. So the more delegation also, the more time capacity you increase for yourself and for your team. And last but not least, reallocate. Sometimes we have the passion to do everything. We need to make the aging reports. We need to make the sales report. We need to do a lot of things, but we can't do everything, right? We can't do everything. So what we have to do is to sit with the management. What are the key priorities this year? What are the key priorities that you need us to focus on this year? Based on the key priorities and the strategic things, you have to reallocate your team's time on those high value activities. This is very important, which is reallocating our team's time on the strategic things and on the high value adding activities.
Okay, clear. So I think that's like a memo for increasing the capacity of any function, not only FP&A or xP&A. It can be applicable anywhere, and it can be applicable to other function, but in particular finance, I know the spirit that we as a finance people were keen to create this deck.
Yes.
We love this deck. It's full comprehensive, where the business just need an executive summary.
Exactly.
To take an action on that. I agree with you. Now, in the coming 3 minutes, just as a last thoughts out of mindset, skill set, technology, and capacity, are we missing anything else? Do we have the right function for FP&A now?
We're still missing one more pillar, Mahmoud, which is about culture, right? If you have everything, right system, right people, right mindset, increasing capacity, but people working in a bad culture, do you think they will succeed?
No, of course not.
No. So what are the right culture for the FP&A? Number one, agility, right? Business dynamics, all business now is very dynamics, right? All things around us, every day we have new things, right? Everything is changing very, very fast. So what should we do? We should work in a very agile manner, right? As an FP&A. So agility inside the organization, not only for the FP&A, for the whole organization, is very important for the successful FP&A functions. Number two, collaborations and cross-functional. FP&A, as I said, the functions that connecting the dots. If FP&A working in a silos and each function working in a silos, for sure FP&A will not succeed, right? And number three, which is very important, transparency and the trust. If the FP&A working in trust and transparency within the team and within the organization, definitely can succeed. But if you are working in a bad culture that there is no transparency, people are hiding data, even within the team people are hiding data or are not telling the full reality or the full truth, definitely FP&A cannot succeed. And the last but not least point, which is about diversity. If you would like to build the winning FP&A team, ensure diversity. Don't hire all the people, copy of you as a manager. I saw many managers hire people just copy of them, right? If you have all the people are having the same background, same skills, same mindset, definitely you will lose a lot of things, right? So I believe FP&A function should have good diversity. Number one, having someone strong in data storytelling. Another one strong in building relationships. Another one strong in data analytics and working in a very high complex and deep dive data analysis. Another one good in in understanding business. Someone who's very keen to understand the business model, understand the strategy, understand the commercial aspects. So if you have that kind of diversity within the FP&A team, it will be a very, very strong team and a winning team.